I'm leaving up the warning for a minute. But thank you again, Krista, aka Lady O, for becoming a new YouTube member. Well, for those of you that have been gifted memberships, how you like it? How you like it? We have a lot of fun members' lives. We really do. Crime Time Connie, hello. Diana, Nufflin, Chrissy, Shonda, what up, girl? There's Jules. Chrissy is talking about her singing voice. She said, it's so true, Angel P. I wish I had a nice voice. I sound like a sick whale. There's not enough R's in that sentence for us to hear you sing, Chrissy, with your Boston accent. Love you. Love you, girl. Hello, Susan. Fun to ski. Woo. Pat K made it back. Joanne made it back. KK Twister. What up, Twister? Token. Wow. I'll tell you what. I wasn't expecting this. No. Honestly, I expected a plea agreement. Plea agreement. Cat OG. What's up, girlfriend? For the PG version. The pictures. The pictures. Because there's no defense. He's in it. His old crooked freckled dick is in it. Everything. His face. There's no defense. There's no defense. Waste of time. Waste of time. There's no defense. Her having a crush on him, that's not going to hold water. Nope. Sorry. Nope. Not going to hold water. However, the murder, I was really hoping that wouldn't be part of the plea deal. Because he needs to be sent straight to Hades. Well, in, 15, 20 years, the way the state of Florida does it. But it appears to me that he pulled a Koberger. Put the whole enchilada together. I don't want to die. Okay, hold on one second. Shannon, okay, True Crime Beat is in the courtroom right now. She said, I'm behind the camera, so you all likely won't see me. Tyler and Tatiana are here. So Madeline's dad and stepmom are there. Whew, let me ask her. Jen? Where's Jen Soto? She has a bitch to birth here. She does. And no, I'm not talking about Madeline. She created this. She did. I think she is the puppet master. Okay, True Crime Beat said dunno. D-U-N-N-O. She dunno. Yeah. Looks like she's going to have to get up and walk around and start meeting people. Okay, she just said not that we believe. Well, this is something else. Okay, let's take a second. Let's welcome everybody back. Come on. You know how we do. Let's welcome them back. I'm getting the heebie-jeebies. Exactly, Ange. Where is Miss in my body? Sorry, I was hiccuping when I said it. Yeah, where is Miss in my body? Where'd she go? Where's she at? So Tyler and Tatiana are there. Again, dad and stepmom. So they came from Texas. But Jen can't drive a few miles for her own daughter. She was in the hot seat during her interrogation when they kept saying, well, they were trying to nail her to the wall. She did not help these investigators at all. She gave them no information. She actually made herself look 10 times worse. They knew that she tried to get him an attorney. They knew that she told him back in June of 2023 that it was too risky for Madeline to sleep with her anymore. What? Why? What? I really think think is the key word. She is the puppet master. Now, I put a question up. Well, look at that. Look at that. All I need is Jesus coffee and true crime. Tomorrow is my birthday. Woohoo! Big 47. Well, we will certainly be singing you happy birthday on tomorrow's show at 9 a.m. Let me go through your comments from the post I put up over the weekend. All right, remember, if I showcase one of your after show comments, not during the show, then you go in for a prize. Okay? Chrissy, here was my question. I said, good morning with the sunshine. I said, what are your thoughts on Stephen Stern's plea request? We will stream it live tomorrow. Of course, I mentioned Madeline Soto. Chrissy said, I'm mad as hell about the murder part being part of the plea. But I'm glad because Maddie shouldn't be on display like that. Now let's talk about that for a moment. That's why I was kind of hoping, well, I was really hoping, just letting Plea out for the, what's the technical term? The C-scan. Some people call it CP. Because I just thought, nobody needs to see that. And she's been violated enough in life. She shouldn't be violated in death. But the red rum, I have a problem with him not getting hung up by his toenails. Baby Son Forever said maybe he's pleading for the death penalty. So you think Stephen is going there to ask to go to death row? Well, that'd be a new one. Blessed Mama said he's a coward. Peas in a pod. She said, just like Brian. Stephen thinks life in prison won't end up being the DP anyhow. It will sooner or later, and eventually he's just going to wish it sooner, in my opinion. I'm Outs said he should be made an example of. He should have gotten DP. Well, let's see. Let's see. Tasha said, part of me would have loved to have seen him suffer through the trials and probably end up with the ultimate punishment. Okay, Baby Son Forever said, I was being sarcastic. Actually, I thought it was pretty interesting. Talk about a twist. Could you imagine? You show up and say, no, really, I think for this, I deserve the needle. Can we do it tomorrow? That would be quite the twist. Okay, Tasha said, part of me would have loved to see him suffer through trials and probably end up with the ultimate punishment. The other part of me is glad Maddie doesn't have to be viewed in that way ever again. Wonder, is the mother dearest? Will she be there to say anything for her daughter? Tasha, you read my mind. I don't believe that Maddie should be viewed in that way because there's some pretty sick tickets out there on the internet. And we've seen it before. We've seen it before. They will FOI it because once it's done, and then the FOI is open. And then they'll go to their different places and they'll say, well, this is for educational use only. Educational use only. True Crime Beat said it's a surreal feeling. I'm sure it will be more so when I'm in the courtroom tomorrow. She's there right now. Okay, Chrissy just said text True Crime Beat. She said they are going to make in victim impact statements, so this could be sentencing too. Okay, I don't know why I need to text her on that. If that's what they're doing, that's what they're doing. I don't need to text her about that. Kat said maddening. I'm so confused. Junebug said conflicted about this one. Amanda Hudson said no. I want full weight of the law. Man, we're all very conflicted on this. We're all very conflicted on this. On one hand, I'll tell you what, that's going to be something else if they do victim impact statements today, which makes sense considering Tyler and Tatiana are there. Hold on. Kat said, I think I said confuscated. Definition, please. Definition, please. Britt said, is Jen able to attend? Hell yeah, she's there. She can't show her face. Hell to the no. She's not showing her face. All right, so this is where we're at. We know that the sexual abuse trial was delayed. There was a lot of hobnob, blah, 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 around the internet. Is there a plea in the works? And like 14 minutes till 5 p.m. Eastern time on Friday, they said, yeah, we're going to court on Monday. We're not picking a jury. Because he wants to plea.
I know that Mr. Stearns is not present, and it was my understanding that the defense was not requesting his appearance today, and his appearance with us was waived. Is that correct?
Yes, Judge.
Thank you. Right. It's unusual that the court doesn't defer to a joint motion to continue. Under this case, I'm a little, I need some additional information as to the grounds. Suppose the following. I understand that, number one, this is that the assistant state attorneys are in high demand, and unfortunately they have a lot of cases that are pending. I also am.
I kind of have multi-devices going on right now. Can someone go into Discord and send True Crime Beat a message and tell her to switch seats with someone so she's not behind the camera like she was last time, and we can all wave at her, internet-wise? V. Oakley said, if it was my child, I would be there. Well, you didn't serve your child up to be ARD.
Sessions to when the trial will begin. I think I'd like to begin jury selection on July 22nd. Potential opening statements would, depending on.
Okay, to make it clear, this is old. What I was saying is, this is where they were talking about the trial being delayed. So this is not today. This is not current. I apologize for not making that more clear. Sometimes old Brooks gets ahead of herself.
On jury selection be on the 25th with either the presentation of evidence in an order that accommodates unavailability of witnesses beginning that Friday or on Monday, July 28th.
Okay, that's the judge from the Stephen Stearns trials. The first one is now delayed. Stephen Stearns, you may recall, accused of sexually assaulting Memorial.
All right, to make it clear, I should have been more clear, but I'm all wound up. Okay? Wound up. We lost some people in here because they were probably like, what the hell is she doing? Hell, it's 5 o'clock somewhere, but damn, what's she doing? No, Joanne, you're fine, baby. I'm the one that had the blonde moment. I should have explained better. Angel P said, oh, okay, so he may be there today. He has to be there today. He has to be there today. He has to enter the plea in front of the court in person, and they will give victim impact statements according to True Crime Beat, who I want her to move seats so we can see her in court. She's famous now.
The sexual assaults of a little girl named Madeline Soto for years on his account and ultimately on his phone, then charged with her murder after she went missing and her body was found 20 miles from the home. So he's facing two.
Can I say this before I get back to it? Okay. The psychics were wrong again. They were wrong again. I think we all made a uneducated guess that Stefan was up to something. I think we all made that guess, and we've been following this case a long time. But what happened to her, how bad it is, and where she was, again, the psychics were wrong. 100% wrong.
Cases, the sexual assault for everything that was found on his phone that he memorialized in the first trial with a life sentence at the end of that. Then following that, a murder trial, which is followed by a potential death sentence. Okay, that's what he's facing. So he had filed a motion to suppress all the evidence from the cell phone. It was denied. And once it was denied, then the prosecution and defense together were asking for a continuance of that first trial. And I'm thinking, what's going on here? Why all of a sudden do we want to delay? What's going on? Now the defense knows they have no defense. It's over, right? The only defense was not getting this information in front of the jury. It's getting in front of the jury all the pictures of the defendant and the little girl. Is he working on a deal? Is the state attorney working on a deal with Stefan Stearns? Is that possible? We're going to have another one of these?
Got a question from Kat. She said, but I still don't understand why they are letting him plea out to the murder. The only thing that comes to mind is that her father said, as long as he's put away forever and my daughter is not further victimized, then fine. Lock him up. Don't let him appeal. Do not give him his choice of prison. Do not give him special protection. Because her dad is there. State of Florida's got billions of dollars. Billions of dollars. And this is a slam dunk for them. That's the only thing I can think of. And people can change their plea at any time. It doesn't mean they're not going to get death. And we don't know what this judge is going to do. He might say, I'm taking your guilty plea, but guess what, bozo? You're still going to fry. You're still going to fry. And I think it would be great if this, whatever is said today, opens up a case on Jen. Okay, I'll come back to this. Let's get to something more current, since I confused myself and everybody else. Again, you're in great hands.
Reporting for News 6 on Monday, the man accused.
Okay, this is current. Okay.
Accused of raping and killing 13-year-old Madeline Soto will have a plea hearing just 24 hours before jury selection was set to begin in one of his trials. Now,
You want to hear a fun fact? And some people will not agree with this. They're going to be like, that is horrible. That is horrific. I don't know what they're doing. But in the state of Oklahoma, they don't let victims' families weigh in on the punishment when it comes to death. Okay? So let's take Athena Brownfield, for example. Her non-caregiver, Alyssa, she's up for the death penalty. They will not reach out to surviving family members of Athena and say, hey, she wants to plead guilty and she doesn't want to die. Is that okay with you? They're not going to do it. If they want to kill him, they're going to kill him. They will. I know. It's crazy. It's crazy. They give him the right to be there when they kill him, and that's about it. Connie said, I wonder if SS is going to testify against Jen. Seems to me like today everything's going to be over and there won't be any testifying to be done. I think the only person that really wanted this to go away is Jen. She did not want all that evidence out. She could be the driving force. I hate to say it, she could be. And it wouldn't surprise me because, well, she is a dirty bird.
Just 24 hours before jury selection was set to begin in one of his trials. Now, he originally pled not guilty, and we did learn.
Hold on. I think I confused people again. Susan said, WTF, care what they want. The victims don't want to die either. No, in Oklahoma, if the victims' families say we don't want the death penalty, they'll go ahead and do it anyway. Did I clarify that better? They'll do it anyway. That's just how it goes. Okay? I thought Florida was the same way. But we would have to ask our Florida expert true crime beat. No. Now, they will reach out and say they want to plead guilty to take the death penalty off, and they will give them that decision. But if they say, we're asking for death, if they say no, they're going to be like, no. They're getting death. Sarah said, can't listen right now, but TCB said she has to be behind Stearns. Good Lord. Ask her if she has any root beer barrels in her pocket.
That his attorneys filed last-minute notices for both of the criminal cases, so it appears that he is going to change his guilty pleas tomorrow during that court hearing. In choosing that, he can either plead guilty or no contest. Now, I spoke to a local attorney about how this could all play out. Less than 24 hours before.
Nasty. Damn nasty.
For his first trial, Stephen Stearns is set to enter a new plea. What are his options? I sat down with Evan Self, a trial attorney not affiliated with the case, to discuss what he thinks Stearns' attorney might be planning. He explained Stearns could either plead guilty or no contest.
Let's say he gets, and the agreement is life in prison without the possibility of parole, then that would clearly be a reflection of a plea bargain.
If Stearns pleads no contest, he would go to prison for the crimes while not admitting guilt, but the judge would have to approve it.
And there are several judges in Orange and Osceola County who don't accept no contest pleas in many cases.
And from what I understand, this judge does not accept a no contest at all. Carly said Jen needs to be locked up too. She's part of the reason. I just got an update from True Crime Beat. She said Jen's mom is here and Jen's sister. Well, look who's not showing up. Look who's not showing up. Carly said Jen needs to be locked up too. She's part of the reason why Maddie's not here. This case is so vile, it's sickening. One of the worst I've ever seen. Hold on. Angela said Richard Allen, convicted of unaliving 2 young girls brutally in Indiana, got his transfer to Oklahoma because it's easier there. Oh, there's nothing easy about Oklahoma prisons, but they had to get him out of the prison he was in because, well, he was getting the Adam Montgomery treatment, you know? He was, they couldn't keep him safe there. And don't think Cleveland County is a nice jail to be in. Shonda, he's in Cleveland County. Yeah. Yeah. Way to go, Jen Soto. You disrespected her in life, and now you're doing it in death.
Judge would have to approve it.
And there are several judges in Orange and Osceola County who don't accept no contest pleas in many cases. And even though it's a perfectly acceptable, statutory approved plea, there are still some judges who won't accept that to certain crimes or just under certain circumstances.
Prosecutors announced they'd be seeking the death penalty for Stearns when he was scheduled to go on trial for murder later this year.
Do you think his attorneys are trying to stop him from ending up on death row?
Yeah, I think they're trying to, they think they've come up with the best strategy to save their client's life.
Now we just got to see what exactly that is.
Exactly.
Before that trial, prosecutors were planning to try him for sex crimes, with jury selection starting Tuesday. Self isn't surprised this change is happening just before Stearns is set to face a jury of his peers.
Oftentimes, good plea negotiations are the results of long-term communications between the defense and the prosecution, and it ultimately gets to the point of, now we're about to go to trial.
Right. So it's now or never.
That's right. And it doesn't happen until that moment of decision gets really close.
Prosecutors and Stearns' public defender did not tell us if a plea agreement has been reached. That hearing is set for 1:30 on Monday. Reporting in the newsroom, Stephanie Rodriguez, News 6.
Just a couple minutes away. Just a couple minutes away. Jen Soto has made me sick for a very, very long time. But her not being there for her daughter today just blows it out of the water. Purple Rain said, wonder how many P sites will be shut down. Oh, yeah, not one word regarding them. We don't know where he shared the pictures, and this is just my opinion. You can have yours. They would be ridiculous to put out the sites because it brings all the pedos to the yard, if you know what I mean. Remember the song, My Milkshake Brings All the Boys to the Yard? Yeah, you go ahead and tell them where the shit is. They're going to be there because these people are what I call incurable. Incurable. You cannot cure them. You can't cure them. Forget it. And I don't think you can cure Jen.
I've always told him that my biggest fear is that this would turn into a Woody Allen situation where the stepdaughter or the dad grooms the child and the child turns 18 and ends up running away with him. I told him that was my biggest fear and I don't ever want that happening. You can't do that to me.
Why would you say that to him?
Because I never trusted. I grew up being told never trust a man. My mom put that in my body. Never trust a man.
All right, welcome to some breaking news we have right here in the News 6 newsroom, as we could be getting Stephen Stearns. He is accused of murdering 13-year-old Maddie Soto.
Okay, this is live. I got to make Nick happy. This is on WKMG. All right? So True Crime Beat is there, and she's staring at the back of Stephen's head.
This goes back to February 26th of 2023. He just entered the courtroom, and we're expecting a change of plea here. He had previously pled not guilty. And when you listen, let's listen in here. I can hear. some activity in the court. Let's take it.
Danielle Pennell.
William J.
You state.
On behalf of the defense.
Alicia Smith. Beth Borden.
Peter Mills. Alex Johnson.
Ms. Walker might be via
We have an online presence named Stephanie. Is that representative from the survivor family?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court has admitted an online presence, Stephanie. Also admitting Russ Walker.
Where's True Crime Beat? Yeah, turn up your volumes because they don't exactly have good good sound. This is plea and possibly sentencing, Virginia Woolf.
Okay, so this is a change of plea in the case of Stephen Stearns. While there's a little quiet in the courtroom here, I wanted to talk to you about what's going on. So there are two separate cases. There's a sexual assault case against 13-year-old Madeline Soto, and then there is a murder, death penalty case, which is projected for later in the year. Let's listen in.
CF 1293, CF 632. Court has also received an addendum to the plea form. Gordon, Ms. Smith, do you wish to walk me through the terms of the agreement?
Yes, Judge. In exchange, Mr. Stearns will be entering a plea in the 693 case, the counts 1 through 20, the still be under counsel and no process 21 through 60. Center concurrently with the 1293 case and adjudication of your SCE life concurrent, and then officially
Thank you. And state as to the addendum. I'm going to ask the folks that have joined us remotely to please mute their microphones. State any special considerations in the addendum to the plea form.
No, Your Honor, we are just incorporating the plea addendum into the.
State of Florida filed a notice of intent to seek the penalty of death. That was on June 7th, 2024. Is the state formally going to be withdrawing that notice of intent to seek penalty of death?
After the acceptance of the plea and pronouncement.
Thank you. Should that announcement be made by the state of Florida, the proposed sentence will be the maximum sentence allowed by law. I'm going to place you under oath.
All right, I'm interrupting for those that couldn't hear. The state said they have accepted to remove the death penalty. And he just asked that you are willing to do the maximum. And she said yes and sat down. Hey, Boston, what up?
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you are about to enter into this case to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
I have two plea forms in my hand. One document looks like this. Second document looks like this. They're each plea forms for your respective cases. They each have a signature. That signature is the same on both plea documents. That signature is next to my finger. Can you tell me if that is your signature?
It's hard to tell from here.
Will you provide these forms?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, it is.
What your signature and a set of initials after each of the 26 paragraphs on each document, those initials being SS, tell me is that you have had an opportunity to read these documents. Do you have any difficulty reading and writing the English language?
I have no difficulty.
And your signature indicates that you are aware of each of the 26 paragraphs and all of the terms and conditions of these two documents. Is that correct?
That is correct.
I have a secondary document. It is an addendum to the plea form. That document is 4 pages long. It appears to have the same initials on the bottom of each of the pages, as well as a signature at the conclusion of the case, along with your attorney, Ms. Borden and Ms. Smith. I'm going to ask the deputies to please provide this document to you, and I'm going to ask you to verify that this is your signature.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, it is.
What your signature on this document tells me is that you have had an opportunity to read this document, go over it with your attorneys, and you understand the 13 additional conditions of your plea agreement. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Each of the plea form goes over what your trial rights would be. In 2024 CF 1293, you are charged with the allegation of first-degree premeditated murder. In 2024 CF 632, you are charged with 60 counts. The first 9 counts being sexual battery with a child 12 to 18 years of age, counts 10 through 13 being sexual battery with a child 12 to 18 years of age, counts 14 through 20 being lewd or lascivious molestation, counts 21 through 60 being unlawful possession of materials depicting sexual performance by a child, 10 or more images.
Your Honor, counts 1 through 8 are sexual battery on a child under 12.
My apologies. Counts 1 through 8 are capital sexual battery on a child under 12. The plea form contemplates in 2024 CF 1293, 1 count of murder, first degree, capital offense. Plea form on 24 CF 632 contemplates counts 1 through 8, 9 through 13, 14 through 20. the representation that the state of Florida is withdrawing their notice of intention to seek the penalty of death upon acceptance of this plea. The maximum potential sentence on 24 CF 1293 would be life in prison without possibility of parole. Has the maximum sentence been explained to you?
Yes, Your Honor.
And in 24 CF 632, counts 1 through 8, the maximum potential sentence would be a mandatory sentence of life in prison without possibility of parole. 9 through 13 and 14 through 20 would be first degree felony allegations with a maximum potential sentence of up to life in prison. You understand those maximum potential sentences on that case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand that you have a right to have a jury trial as to each of these allegations? And at the jury trial, the state of Florida would have to prove those allegations against you beyond and to the exclusion of every reasonable doubt. At that trial, your attorneys would be with you. They are experienced, board-certified criminal expert trial attorneys. They would be cross-examining witnesses, examining the evidence against you. You would have a right to present your own witnesses and your own evidence. If you had witnesses that did not want to come to court, you could have asked me to make them come to court with a subpoena. You could have spoke at your trial, or you could have exercised your right to remain silent and not spoken. That would have been your decision after you talked those decisions over with your attorneys, and your jury would have been instructed not to consider your decision to remain silent in any way in rendering a verdict. You would have had a right to have your trial recorded and appeal any errors that occurred in the process. Do you understand you are giving up all of your trial rights if the court accepts this plea? Because I will be imposing the sentence that you have agreed with the state of Florida to be imposed upon you, and we will not be having a trial on any of these matters. Do you understand those things?
I understand.
And Your Honor, just for record purposes, counts 9 through 13 are first degree felonies punishable by life, as the court indicated. Count 14 through 20 are actually life felonies.
These are life felonies with a minimum mandatory of 25 years. Is life a required sentence, or would that be a punishable by life offense?
It's a life punishable by life offense. I just wanted the record to be clear. The court indicated first degree felonies punishable by life. I just wanted the record to be clear that 14 through 20 are life felonies with 25-year minimum mandatories.
So the plea form indicates that these are first degree felonies. These are actually either capital offenses or punishable by life offenses. Do you understand that, Mr. Stearns?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is anyone forcing you or pressuring you into make the decision to resolve your case this way?
No, Your Honor.
Has anyone made you any other promises other than what has been presented to you as the agreed upon sentence?
No, Your Honor.
Are you under the influence of any alcohol, drugs, or mental issues that cause you not to understand the decision that you are making?
I am not.
Do you understand if you are not a United States citizen, that entry of this plea would subject you to deportation proceedings?
Yes.
And if you ever before had been convicted of a sexually violent or a sexually motivated offense, entry of this plea would have subjected you to involuntary civil commitment at the conclusion of any incarcerative sentence. You understand that's the state of Florida law.
Yes.
Ms. Smith, do you have any competency concerns regarding Mr. Stearns' fitness to accept this plea agreement?
No, Judge.
Ms. Borden?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Stearns, based on your responses to the court, based on your indicating that you have reviewed this decision with your attorneys, based on your initialing of the plea form and your acknowledgement that you understand all the terms and conditions, rights and obligations on these plea forms, including the addendum, the court is going to make a determination that you are alert, that you have had an opportunity to discuss this with your attorneys, that you are making this decision freely and voluntarily and without coercion. The court accepts your plea. Let me see the attorneys.
Okay, you're hearing a lot of legal terminology right now. The judge just called the attorneys up to the bench. So, and I apologize as the audio is a little low in the courtroom right now. We can't control that. We're just getting that feed in from the court. We're boosting it as much as possible. But here's what's going on. So Stephen Stearns was projected to have 2 trials this year, one for sexually abusing, many counts of sexual abuse of young 13-year-old Madeline Soto, and before she was 13. Then a trial was scheduled for later in the year that would have been a death penalty capital murder case. So what is happening in this change of plea here is that, you can see our Mike DeForest there in the foreground taking notes, is that he is basically agreeing to plead guilty to many of these counts, 60 counts in one case and that first-degree murder charge. And in response, the prosecutors are going to take the death penalty off the table. So what appears to be happening here today is Stephen Stearns is pleading guilty to all the charges in front of them, and he will spend the rest of his life in prison. Now, what does that mean for today? Well, it looks like he could be sentenced. He's expected to, the judge will take the maximum sentence. It will be life without parole. Many of these counts, as you could hear, either give him life or life without parole, and so he will be getting the maximum sentence for all of those. But this day will add extra things into this, as we're expecting victim impact statements. In fact, we spoke with one of the lawyers involved in this case. They said Maddie's biological father will be reading the victim impact statements to Stephen Stearns in the courtroom today. So very dramatic day. A very, it's just been a terrible case to cover, in all honesty, and this will bring a little closure for that family so they can move on and not have to deal with all these court cases. But for Stephen Stearns, he will not be facing the death penalty later on this year. So again, some of these counts, of course, first-degree premeditated murder is the big one.
All right. Obviously, True Crime Beat is busy. She's busy. She's there at the court. But I'm wondering, where's old Ma and Pa Stearns? Are they in the courtroom? Are they in the courtroom? We know Jen Soto's not there because True Crime Beat's there. So Yolanda's there. And Jen Soto's sister is there. Madeline's father is there. Her stepmother is there. But who's missing from this equation? Jen Soto. I still have not got any confirmation from True Crime Beat if Stefan's parents are there. And I understand what the reporter is saying. This puts it behind them. He's clean. And it doesn't mean the case is over. If evidence points to someone else, they will certainly. They've been trying with Jen Soto for a long time. A long time. They've been trying with her for a long time. It does not mean the case of Madeline is over. No. So, I see what the reporter is saying. They don't have to worry about going to appeals. They don't have to worry about his parole. Now, I don't know. In the state of Florida, if you are if you get the death penalty, well, it's federal. Of course you can appeal. Yeah. That would be, yeah. You can appeal. You can appeal that. I think you actually get more appeals for the death penalty. Alicia P. said they need to get busy on the others. Come telling you now, this was a ring. We've discussed that many times on here. Oh, yeah, there's a ring for sure.
That was the one that he could have faced the death penalty for. There were 60 other counts, just all across the board, counts of child molestation, sexual battery, child porn, and all of those counts came when Stephen Stearns handed over his phone to investigators. So what happened when Madeline Soto went missing, of course, they look at all the family members, and Stephen Stearns thought he had done a factory reset on his phone. So when investigators asked him for that phone and for his passcode to get into it, he gave it to him.
He did. But then tried to say his constitutional rights were violated. Bonnie said, they're not embarrassed enough to not put money on his books. Ooh, you're right. Jinbug said, definitely is one. She said, I called it from day one. Santa, all of them involved. All of them. Santa, his son. The minute Homeland Security went on their door, what did the son do? He checked into hell early. That's what he did.
Thinking that it was clear of any evidence. Well, I don't know if they found it on his iCloud or if they were able to dig in with technology experts there, but they were able to find a significant amount of evidence inside that phone that showed investigators, just from what we understand from investigators, it was a pretty terrible selection of evidence in there of cases of molestation for years going back to when Maddie was younger than 12 years old. So right now, if you're just tuning in, you can see those lawyers are meeting with the judge. It looks like this is all just, they're going over all the specifics of the paperwork right now. And just trying to figure out exactly, they have to button this up very tightly and make sure that Stephen Stearns can't come back later and say, oh, I didn't mean to agree to that. I didn't know what I was signing. That's why the judge is going line by line right now, making sure that everything is covered so that this doesn't cause an appeal later on down the line if he has any regrets about this sentencing. So just to give you a little bit of the timeline here. So this all started in February of 2023. That is when little Maddie Soto, the 13-year-old, did not show up for school. Her mom went to pick her up, and she found out that she was never dropped off to school that day. Well, the person who claimed to had dropped her off was Stephen Stearns. And she never made it to school that day. In fact, it seems like she was dead maybe before the school day even started. So Stearns was arrested on February 29th, just 3 days later. Deputies identified him as the primary suspect in the disappearance. Investigators, they found that pictures and video of all the sexual abuse on Stearns' phone and all of those other devices. And then on March 1st, that is when investigators told us they're pretty confident that that young girl you're seeing on your screen right there was in fact dead. She was strangled. Her body was found in a wooded area after someone reported seeing Stearns in that area as well. On March 12th, Stearns was charged. At that point, it was 8 counts of sexual battery on a child under 12. It looks like the lawyers are heading back to their seats. Let's listen in as they continue this plea hearing.
Parties regarding the plea of no contest as to 24 CF 1293, first degree premeditated murder of Madeline Soto. Mr. Stearns, how do you plead to first degree premeditated murder in 24 CF 1293?
No contest.
And as to counts 1 through 8, capital sexual battery of Madeline Soto.
Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. He didn't just say that. No contest? So he's not going to admit guilt. Damn. Y'all, I need an Excedrin.
And as to counts 1 through 8, capital sexual battery of Madeline Soto while she was under the age of 12. Counts 9 through 13, sexual battery of Madeline Soto between the ages of 12 and 18. And counts 14 through 20, lewd or lascivious molestation. How do you plead?
Guilty.
Prior to sentencing, does the state care to offer any victim impact testimony?
Let's listen to this again. He's pleading no contest to murder. That's how I heard it. But to the battery, he's pleading guilty. He's getting off on this. Okay, we're going to listen to it again. I hate to do that to you.
First degree premeditated murder of Madeline Soto. Mr. Stearns, how do you plead to first degree premeditated murder in 24 CF 1293?
No contest.
Then he shouldn't, not that I care about him, not that I care about him, then he shouldn't have taken the plea. He won't admit guilt for the murder. He's trying to say Jen did it. But the battery, the sexual battery, he's saying he's guilty. Wow. Wow, this is a game changer.
And as to counts 1 through 8, capital sexual battery of Madeline Soto while she was under the age of 12. Counts 9 through 13, sexual battery of Madeline Soto between the ages of 12 and 18. And counts 14 through 20, lewd or lascivious molestation. How do you plead?
Guilty.
Prior to sentencing, does the state
OMG, Mama Bear, you're a genius. This has happened in other trials where they take the plea and they know they're going to get life, but they won't get death. But then and to me, they're all major crimes, and I think he should be hung up by his toenails. I hate to use the word just, but you get me. Okay, we're all friends here. Just for the sexual battery in the pictures. Okay? Mama Bear, you are a genius. She said, I wonder if he needs to plead no contest so they can go after the mom for charges also. You are so right. Ding, 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 ding. If he pleads guilty to everything, then there's really nothing they can do with Jen. And they're not done with her. That detective told her. That's a great point. I'm going to go ahead and do comment of the day. Well, I love when my eyes get peeled back. That's amazing. Yep. This is a legal strategy. He don't know what no contest means. He doesn't know. He has no idea. And here's another comment of the day. They could be using that ISIS-looking motherfucker to get bigger fish. Hence why they said, you plead no contest to this. That's true. TikTok, Jen. TikTok.
care to offer any victim impact testimony?
Your Honor, the first will be a written statement from Madeline's maternal grandmother. Yolanda Zambrano. Today I stand before you with a broken soul. I am Madeline's grandmother, but to her I was not grandma. Madeline always called me mama. She decided that since she was little, and that's how I felt with her, like a second mother who loved her with all my heart. Madeline was a happy little girl. She loved going shopping with me. That excited her so much that it felt like everything around us turned into color. I remember her face lighting up when we went to the stores, holding hands, laughing together in those moments. We connected, and I felt like she knew she was loved, protected, and valued. At night, we loved to play. It was in those moments, just before bed, that she laughed the most. Sometimes it's hard for me to close my eyes because I still hear her laughter. It was free, sweet, and sincere laugh, a sound I will never forget as long as I live. But that laughter was silenced by a horrific act. The very man who betrayed her trust, her innocence, her body. And if that wasn't enough damage, he took her life. And with her, he killed a piece of our souls. Since then, life has never been the same. Our family is empty and broken. There are days when the pain is so great that I feel like I'm drowning. And every time I think of everything she could have been, everything that was stolen from her, it hurts even more. Because Maddie wasn't just a victim. She was a little girl with a beautiful future, with a unique light, with so much love to give and receive. Today I am here because Maddie can no longer speak, but I can as her grandmother. As someone who loved her with all that I am, I come to ask for justice for her memory, for everything she lived through and should never have lived through. Justice so that no one else has to go through such a horror. I will never forget Maddie, her voice, her laughter, her eyes, her dreams. All of that lives in me, and so it will live forever. My beautiful girl, one day we will be reunited and we will never be separated again. I love you with all my heart. Thank you for listening to me with deep pain and eternal love.
This is a statement from Angelica Negro Guerrero. My name is Angelica Negro Guerrero. I lived with Maddie and Jennifer in the same house for about 2.5 years. Today, I take the liberty of expressing myself not just as a roommate, but as part of the family, as Maddie told me several times. How can I explain how this tragedy has impacted my life? There are so many emotions. I am an immigrant and I have lived in this country for 4 years. I left my country, Venezuela, alone with just a suitcase in my hand in search of a better future. Venezuela has been going through the worst moment in history, run by people blinded by power and money, people who have stolen the future of so many. I've always been against injustice, abuse, corruption, and evil in general. I couldn't picture myself living in a country where I had to witness every single day how a small corrupt group destroyed countless families and the beauty of my nation. And that's exactly why it has been so devastating for me to experience something so tragic, so close to me after coming here with a hope for a better life. I ended up living under the same roof with a man who took the life of a 13-year-old girl, and with that shattered an entire family. What is the point of having dreams, plans, and opportunities if there is no life? If there is so much evil in the world? How can I explain what I felt and how this has affected me, especially considering that this same man took nude photos of my body without my consent, violating my privacy? I felt invaded, outraged, degraded, anguished, and absolutely shattered. I constantly think that my life was in danger too. I could have died. I am also a victim. And the only reason I'm here to write this is because God is great and I know I'm under his protection. This has affected my emotional, physical, and financial stability. I haven't been able to live with strangers ever again. Right now, I rent an apartment by myself. I pay it with all my effort just to feel safe and at peace. If I already had trouble trusting people before, now it's even harder. I can't imagine even handling a neighbor too close because it gives me anxiety. I tried to get psychological help to move forward, but this is something that will forever remain in my memory and continue to affect me deeply. To this day, I wish I could wake up and realize none of this ever happened, that this was just a nightmare. I wish I could still be spending time with Maddie, making her arepas with cheese and butter like she loved. And
I hate to interrupt these statements, but I'm puking in my mouth right now. Why is Yolanda and the roommate making it about them? I understand English is not their first language, and I don't really care because somebody could have helped them with this. It's not about you. All right, Susan said, I understand. She's traumatized. This is about Maddie. Does anyone here give a rat's ass about what she went through in Venezuela? Anyone? Is anyone like, hey, I want to hear more about your days in Venezuela? No. You didn't cooperate and you didn't take care of Maddie because you didn't want to go back to Venezuela. That, my friends, is the truth.
practicing our languages together. Me learning English and her learning Spanish. I'll never forget the words she always told Jennifer. Mommy, I would love to learn Spanish so I can talk a lot with Angelica. I think about all the time, and I wish it had been me who spoke English fluently back then. Maybe she would have opened up to me about the hell she was going through with that horrible man. I want justice for Madeline and for all the girls and women who have lived through something similar. I want him to pay for all the pain he caused her and the beautiful family I love with all my heart. I send all my love to the sky to Madeline so her soul may find peace. Angelica. This is from Zemina Zambrano, a cousin to Maddie Soto. To the Honorable Court, we write this letter with broken hearts still aching from the devastating loss of our beloved Maddie Soto. The pain of losing her is something no family should ever have to endure. But the nature of her death, the cruelty, the abuse, the inhumanity has inflicted a level of trauma and sorrow that words can scarcely convey. Maddie was more than a victim. She was a daughter, a granddaughter, a cousin, a niece, and a cherished soul in our close-knit and loving family. To know her was to love her. Her spirit, her kindness, and her light remained with us, even though her life was so brutally taken. She was not only murdered, she was discarded like she
In the top left-hand corner is court. What they're showing in the middle is past court hearings, okay? That's so just if you look in the top left-hand corner, that's current. Now, I don't know why they're not speaking themselves. Either way, I think we would get the, perfect word, Sweet Sativa, snippets. They're showing snippets of past court proceedings, him walking in and out of jail and stuff like that. Because I was about to lose my mind. I'm like, oh, don't tell me that he doesn't have to sit there and watch it. No, don't tell me that. Tell you what, that last one about blew my mind. Yolanda had my blood pressure in my ears, and then the roommate after it, I about shit my pants.
She was nothing, thrown into the wilderness. That image haunts our minds and wounds our hearts every day. Our grief has been compounded by the public scrutiny and the cruelty of strangers who speculate and judge without knowing the depth of our loss or the strength of our bond. We are a large family rooted in love, faith, and mutual support, and this tragedy has shaken us to our core, mentally, emotionally, and physically. Many of us suffer sleepless nights, constant anxiety, and depression. The trauma has left scars that will last a lifetime. We turn to God for comfort, and we trust that divine justice will ultimately be done. But we also place our faith in this court to uphold what is just and right. Maddie deserves that. Our family deserves that. We beg you to consider the profound impact this crime has had, not just on one individual, but on an entire family and community. Please ensure that the individual who committed this horrifying act is held fully accountable. Justice for Maddie cannot bring her back, but it can ensure that her life and her death are not dismissed or dishonored. Let there be no leniency for this cruelty. Let there be no question about the value of her life. Let justice be done. Sincerely, Jimena, please, on behalf of the Zambrano.
Ma'am, can you tell the court your name?
My name is Letizia Nunez. I was Madeline's aunt.
Can you spell your first and last name for the court report?
Letizia, last name Nunez, Nunez. To Maddie. When I was 7 years old, a beautiful newborn baby was brought into our lives. And I remember being so excited because I was going to be an aunt. You gave me a sense of responsibility from such a young age because I wanted nothing more at that time than to help take care of you, play with you, and overall just make you a happy baby. You're truly missed every single day. I miss your laugh. I miss your smile. I miss your big, beautiful blue eyes. I miss doing the little things like picking you up from school, helping you with your homework, even though we both hated doing that. I just miss you and your presence. But that unfortunately was taken from us. I have so much hatred in my heart, specifically for the creature that's sitting in this room today. And no matter what happens or what justice could be brought, it kills me that it doesn't bring me back. I would give up my life if it meant having you here with us. Even though I was your aunt, you always felt much more like a little sister to me. Doing your hair for the father-daughter dances that my dad would take you to, letting you pick out clothes from my closet, doing your makeup and making sure it was very light because your natural beauty was worth more than any makeup product money could buy. I just miss you every single day, and it's left a hole in my heart from the day you've been gone. Your innocence was taken from you, and since clearly that wasn't enough for a certain someone, so was your life. You were the bravest little girl I've ever met, full of love, light, laughter, and as any positive thing I could think of, you were all of those things. I'm so blessed to have spent 13 years with someone so wonderful, and you're going to live on through all of us. Not because of what happened to you, because that didn't define who you were. I'm going to make sure my future kids know who you are, and make sure my grandkids know who you are, and so on. Today I sit here before everyone, and all I can say is that despite what anyone thinks they know, you were so loved by each and every one of your family members, and I know you left this world knowing that. I know it would pain you to see what people have to say about your loved ones, but what I think of it all is that, and what I'd want you to think up in heaven is that it's all just noise. And I find comfort in the fact that we, your family, know you were beyond loved and beyond cared for. I'm so sorry we found out too late. But despite everything that was happening to you behind closed doors, you still remained one of the happiest human beings I've ever met. Someone who loved us deeply and made us all smile. Trying to find light in this horrible situation is very difficult, but one thing I am grateful for is that your last day on this earth was everything you wanted and more. You got the birthday you asked for. Your best friends were able to be with you. We cooked the food you specifically asked for, and overall, I have the memory of sitting outside by my pool looking at you and your friends and just thinking, I'm so glad she's having a great time. And look at how grown up she is. How she's blossoming into such an amazing young woman. I could go on forever, but I just want to leave this here by saying I love you so much, and I miss you endlessly. Everything I do from now on, any accomplishments, any decisions I make, anything that happens in my life, I'm going to do it for you and in your honor. I love you, Madeline Sofia Soto, and I hope you're resting peacefully now.
can you tell the court your name and then spell your first and last name for the court reporter?
Natalie Rosero, Nathalie. Thank you, Your Honor, for for having me here today. I've known the family for over 15 years. I am best friends with Maddie's aunt and was roommates with Maddie and her mom during the time her life was ended. All of our kids are the same age, so we always try to keep them united and spend as many holidays together. I have years worth of beautiful pictures, birthdays, Christmas, and Easters we all spent together. Those are the moments I try to hold on to as I stand here today. I'm here to express what the past year and a half has been like in my experience. From the moment we found out that Maddie went missing, life has never been the same. Those first 48 hours we set out to look for her, we spread flowers, went knocking on door to door, going to every business down John Young Parkway from Kissimmee to Sand Lake, asking for the public's help. All while seeing my best friend and her family have emotional breakdowns, feeling completely helpless and terrified for Maddie, thinking how could anyone just take her? It turns out we spent almost 3 days looking in the wrong location because Stefan lied to us about where he last saw her. Your Honor, that's the first time in my life I've ever felt true hate for anyone. The following days were filled with more sadness and distraught. We went from searching for a missing person to looking for a body. I had been searching for her as if my son was missing, so it was very difficult to accept that. We spent the rest of the week canvassing St. Cloud until they eventually found her body. Although there was a moment of relief that at least her body was found, that was the last sense of relief I've felt since that day. I was confident I had the power of discernment, but I couldn't even see the evil living in the same house. As details of the sexual abuse and her death came to light, you start to question everything. I even questioned my own faith. Having a full night's sleep became a luxury I could not afford. I was too anxious to sleep, constantly wanting to wake up from a nightmare. It wasn't until I started wishing death on him that I realized I needed help. I started going to therapy to try to deal with the grief and anger of losing Maddie the way we did. I also had to navigate my son's emotions as he finds out the cruelty that exists in this world. Holidays are not the same. The void is loud. It's hard to trust people. I am very guarded. I am hoping that when everything here is said and done, there can be some type of closure, even though Maddie's life can never be replaced. That is the only reason I am here today. As decisions are made, please keep in mind that she wasn't even my child, and I feel this way. I cannot imagine the pain, trauma, and deception that Maddie's family has experienced. I do not wish this pain and suffering on any other child or family. Thank you, Your Honor.
Ms. Stephanie online would like to address the court.
We're joined by an online presence. Stephanie, you may unmute your microphone and let the court know how this has affected your family and yourself.
Can you tell the court your first and last name and spell them, please?
I can see that her microphone is still muted.
Can you hear me, Judge?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, hi. Sorry. To the court. Maddie brought a light into my life that I would never be able to describe. With her outgoing personality and her infectious smile, her infectious laugh. She was so kind-hearted, adventurous, and loving. Now that she's gone, everything's changed. The silence where her laughter used to be is deafening. The hole in my heart is bottomless, and the pain pain is indescribable. My family's life has been shattered. What we've endured and what we will continue to endure for the rest of our lives is a kind of pain that I do not wish on anyone. No family should have to lose a loved one in this horrible manner, especially at such young. Her life was taken. Her future. I should say, never see her fall in love, get married, or build a future that she deserves. With her. This while in her
You return it. I can finish reading it, Judge.
I'm so sorry. I'm not in a good place with connection. I apologize.
You may continue. We can
This
hear you.
This vile and heartless crime has not only affected and traumatized my family, but so many other families as well. It has also impacted her friends, all of those who knew her, as well as the whole community. There are nights where I can't sleep, nights where I wake up gasping for air, haunted by what Maddie must have gone through. I am consumed by grief. I carry such an anger that it eats away at me on a daily basis. A depression I never thought was possible. The emptiness touches every moment of every day. And everywhere I look, I see her. I hear her laugh in my memories, and then I remember she's gone, and it destroys me all over again. To know what Maddie went through and how terrified she must have been is unbearable. The thought of her suffering haunts me. The cruelty of what was done to her will never stop echoing in my mind. I asked the court for something that I know I could never really have, justice. Because real justice would mean that Maddie would be here with us and not you. You still get to wake up every day, something you cruelly stole from her and from us. The way you discarded Maddie as if she was nothing and her life had no value is a true reflection of your evil. The suffering you caused her should be given back to you tenfold. You do not deserve peace. You do not deserve mercy. You deserve to carry the weight of her pain every single day, just how we will carry it for the rest of our lives. And let me be perfectly clear. Where you go after this life will not be where Maddie is. She is in a place of peace surrounded by love. You, on the other hand, will never know peace. You will never see her again. You're not going where she is going. You're going to hell. Thank you, court.
And Stephanie, can you tell the court your first and last name, please?
Stephanie Soto.
Thank you.
Stephanie Soto. Did you get it? I'm sorry.
Ms. Soto, we can hear you. Thank you for your statement.
Thank you.
Your Honor.
Can you tell the court your first and last name and spelling?
Kimberly Vialta. Your Honor, I stand here today to give you a little insight of how loved and how losing Maddie has destroyed my family. Although Maddie was not my blood, I considered her my family. And I loved her like my own niece. Maddie was a kind and bubbly child and was growing up to be the most amazing young lady. She loved arts and crafts, Taylor Swift, and sour gummy candy. I had the honor and privilege of spending many holidays and special occasions with Maddie over the years, and I will cherish those memories forever. I do not have joy or happiness left in me because this monster took that away from us when he killed Maddie. Every day I feel like life is not worth living anymore because such a heinous evil exists in this world. There is not a day that goes by where I do not think about all the pain and suffering that Maddie endured. This monster took advantage of her trust and her innocence. This parasite robbed us of every moment we could have had with Maddie. And our lives will never be the same. A life sentence is not punishment enough for what he did to Maddie. However, it gives me comfort to know that he will spend the rest of his miserable life in prison. I hope he lives a long and healthy life.
Woo! Woo! Ooh, vampire. Said Brooks, it's Wimble's LOL name change for now. I like it. I like it. We're not that far from Halloween. I've actually been seeing like these pop-ups on the internet about, Halloween DIYs on Halloween. I like it. I like it, vampire. I do. I do. I love what this woman just said here. I love what she said. I hope you have a long life. I hope you're healthy. I really do. I hope you are so healthy that you could run a marathon. Not that you'll be able to, because you're going to be behind bars. So you just sit there. Now, I think it's easy to say. We all know what I would prefer. But if the family is saying they're fine with all these life sentences, who am I to complain?
So he suffers every single day. Therefore, I ask the court to not take any mercy on this poor excuse of a human when imposing his sentence, because he does not deserve it. Thank you, Your Honor.
You let the court know your names.
My name is Tyler Wallace.
Tyler, what's your relationship to Madeline Soto?
Madeline Soto was my daughter.
Go ahead.
Madeline Soto was my daughter. She was happiness. She was a joy to be around. She was quirky and intelligent. She was curious. A little forgetful like me too. That happens sometimes, but I just loved her so much. And I was not able to be in her life as much as I would like to, due to circumstances and choices I'd made, due to the way finances worked. I was strained in my relationship with my daughter, and that was finally getting better. The last time I saw her was in October of 2023, and she had come to visit for a few days. And when I took her back to the airport, I said, you're turning 13 soon. When you turn 13, you have a choice of which guardian you're interested in staying with. Would you like to stay with me and talk to you? And she said, yes, that she would. And so I was this close to having my little girl, sir. Because of the actions of this depraved man, I will never meet the woman she was becoming. And I can't grasp it. I can't grasp the selfishness of you, the deplorability of your actions. You're depraved. You're weak. You're a coward. You're a sneak thief. You crept into a family and took advantage and exploited them when they were weak. It's torn my family apart. It's led to arguments about who can go where and who can get what and who can help who, but we're all on edge because it doesn't heal with time. This isn't like other deaths that I've experienced. This just gets worse. It just gets worse every time I rethink about it and the true horror of what this man did upon her. And I can only hope that he lives a long time in prison and has those same horrors revisited upon him by his fellow inmates. Thank you.
It has no further witnesses.
That must have been really tough for him. I have a feeling tomorrow, if it's okay with you guys, we're going to do a little follow-up on this. I love what he said, and I hope you get visited by your fellow inmates. Diana, why wasn't she with her father? We'll talk about that tomorrow. Well, I'll give you 3 initials. J-E-N. He said that in open court. I hope you get visited by your fellow inmates.
Defense, any input prior to sentencing?
Look at Tyler looking over at Stephen Stearns. Tatiana is coming unglued. She's crying so hard you can hear her in the courtroom. Look at him. Look at his eyes. I'm going to tell you something right now. Those bailiffs are watching Tyler. And we don't want Tyler to be in trouble. We don't want Tyler in trouble. Those eyes say it all.
You have additional input?
Can you please tell the court your name?
Okay, my name is Leslie Vajalta.
And how are you related to?
I'm a close friend of Maddie's family. Most people only know Maddie as the victim of a heinous crime, but I'd like to talk about Maddie today, and I'd like to share some things that I really loved about her. I loved how fearless Maddie was. She was an amazing swimmer. She was a fast learner. The moment she set her mind to something, she did it. That's how she was about everything. She dove into everything head first, and she was so resilient. She had the most beautiful smile. It lit up her entire life. Every Christmas, every Thanksgiving, I was so excited to see her, to talk to her about her life. She was so curious. She was so smart. She could sing. She loved to perform for us. Maddie enjoyed watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Bob's Burgers. She even dressed up as Louise one year for Halloween. And I loved her witty, outspoken personality. She's so funny. And that's how I want everyone to leave here thinking about her, remembering her. She lost a lot of privacy towards the end of her life. And I want her to be remembered by her amazing qualities, not the abuse she endured and the exploitation she endured by her abuser. There's not 1 second of my life that I don't think about Maddie. I'll forever celebrate her in my heart and out loud. Maddie was too good for the world, and she did not deserve any of this. Ever since she's been gone, our family, our joy, everything is destroyed. No one smiles anymore. No one laughs. Most days I can't even leave my house. I feel like I can't breathe. And I'm not even her blood relative. I was just so lucky to be a part of her life. He took Maddie away from us. He took away her whole childhood. He took away all her potential that we saw in her, and he took everything from us. And now it's time for him to reap what he sows. This disgusting parasite stole Maddie's youth, her innocence, her life, her joy. He has stolen our sense of safety. I can't sleep. Every time I close my eyes, I see his disgusting face. I can imagine what he did to her. I know every detail. I've read everything. I will never bring children into this world because of people like him, depraved, disgusting maggots just like him. He's not the only one. May God forgive him because I definitely do not. I please ask the court to prosecute him to the fullest extent. Show no mercy, exactly how he did Maddie. Justice for my thank you.
Okay.
Nothing further.
Any input prior to sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor, we would like to thank the State Attorney's Office for sparing Mr. Stearns' life. And we do sincerely hope that this will bring closure and help to start the healing process for Ms. Soles.
Court has accepted Mr. Stearns' plea of no contest to the first-degree premeditated murder of Madeline Soto and his plea of guilty to 8 counts of sexual battery on Madeline Soto under the age of 12, sexual battery upon Madeline Soto between the ages of 12 and 18 in a familial custodial role, and lewd or lascivious molestation, counts 14 through 20. State, you have an announcement as to the notice of intent to seek the penalty of death.
Your Honor, we will waive the notice of intent to seek death. We will file an electronic null pros for counts 21 through 60. And we are also asking that you inquire about waiving a PSI, just in abundance of caution.
Based on the announcement from the state of Florida, the maximum potential sentence in these cases is life in prison without the possibility of parole, as the notice of intent to seek the penalty of death has been waived. Ms. Smith, as to 2024 CF 632, is there a waiver of an entitlement to a pre-sentence investigation?
Yes, Judge.
Gordon, as to the remaining case 2024 CF 1293, is there a waiver of entitlement to a pre-sentence investigation?
Yes, he is not entitled to a PSI on this.
The court has had an opportunity to hear the anguish and the fury of shattered families. Everyone in the gallery has had an opportunity to hear the anguish and the fury of community mourning and permanently diminished. Folks joining us around the state and the country remotely have heard the opportunity to hear the anguish and fury of a meaningful future that was stolen, and a beautiful promise of Madeline Soto's life extinguished permanently. Stephen Stearns, you have had the opportunity to hear that anguish and fury from your actions. As to first-degree premeditated murder of Madeline Soto, you are adjudicated guilty and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. As to the capital sexual battery of Madeline Soto while she was under the age of 12, for each count you are sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. For the sexual battery of Madeline Soto between the ages of 12 and 18, you are adjudicated guilty and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. For the lewd and lascivious molestation of Madeline Soto, you are sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. These sentences will run concurrently, meaning at the same time. The state of Florida has
withdrawn their notice of intent to seek the penalty of death. These are the maximum sentences permitted to the court. Each case will have court costs that will be reduced to a civil judgment.
Twenty 2024 CF 632, court costs are $11,163. As to 24 CF 1293, $666.
Court incorporates the addendum to the plea form as to each plea in 2024 CF 632 and 2024 CF 1293. Not announced. You are adjudicated guilty of counts 1 through 8, 24 CF 632. State any further sentencing considerations?
Yes, Your Honor. With regards to count 14 through count 20 in 24 CF 632, the court sentenced to life in prison, there is a 25-year minimum mandatory with that as well. The state also provided the court with a score sheet which encompasses counts 9 through 20. It includes penetration and contact points as well. A copy of that has been provided to defense as well in the court. I haven't been made aware of any corrections or additions or subtractions.
Do not have a copy of this.
Should be with the plea form, Your Honor.
It's not. I'm going to need a copy of the score sheet, please. Ms. Smith, Ms. Borden, the total sentence points pursuant to the Criminal Punishment Code score sheet are 1,278 with a lowest permissible prison sentence in months of 937.5 months. That doesn't include sexual penetration points of 80 times 5 and sex contact points of 40 times 7. Any errors, corrections, or omissions to the score sheet? Ms. Smith? Ms. Borden?
Okay, if anyone needs a break, I totally understand because they're talking about how many times she was penetrated. Okay. So this is going to be where it gets a tad bit graphic. Okay, that's all I can say on YouTube.
Your Honor.
25-year minimum mandatory sentence as to the counts requiring a minimum mandatory sentence are imposed. Mr. Stearns, you will have the right to appeal the judgment and sentences of the court. If you wish to do so, you must do so in writing within the next 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. The appeal will be limited to the jurisdiction of the court to impose the sentence. Legality of the sentence itself is a condition of your agreement with the state of Florida. You are agreeing not to appeal the pretrial rulings of the court. State anything else? Defense, anything else? Thank you. Let's place Mr. Stearns under, he's been previously placed under oath.
Yes, Your Honor, I would like to make a brief statement. I agree that it's not fair that Madeline is not here anymore. I still have a hard time contemplating a world where she's not around, a world which feels less vibrant and less colorful than it did before. I've prayed to God countless times to trade places with her, to take me instead. And unfortunately, that's just not how he works. I have nothing but sorrow for her loss, and I miss her all the time. Her passing has torn me and my family apart as well, and she truly was a joy. I pray to God that she is in heaven and that He's taking good care of her. And I hope she gets to join the choir because she had a beautiful voice. I will miss her all the time. I will never not honor her memory. And I apologize for all the pain.
Anything further, defense? Conclude our plea and sentencing hearing.
I have to agree with Sweet Sativa. I almost want to laugh, but it's not funny. Sitting there acting like she could possibly be in hell. If she's in heaven, I hope she's singing with the choir because she has a beautiful voice. This is the way a ped talks. She brought me so much enjoyment. She didn't pass away. She was murdered. Why don't you go ahead and answer to that? Oh.
We'll be in recess.
I agree. The audacity. I'm going to put the link up if anybody wants to come up and vent. You are more than welcome to. More than welcome to. More than welcome to. And this investigation is going to keep going. It's going to take a long time. Because let me tell you, Alicia P. said this is not even close to justice. Well, the rest of his natural life and even more, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I was looking for the DP, and they would have got it hands down. They would have got it hands down. And it's very sad to say in any state in America, you are innocent until proven guilty. You can change your plea at any time. And if they're willing to make a deal with you and say, okay, then we're just going to lock you up forever. But you'll have no special treatment. You'll have no special protection. You get special protection when you're on death row. Shonda said he'll honor her memory and save the taxpayers' money. I'm very conflicted on this. Alicia said, I know, but I don't believe in plea deals. It's not a plea deal. Nothing was offered to him. He changed his plea from innocent to guilty. It's a lot, my friends. It's a lot. It's a lot. His dad probably told him, you know, you're toast. You're done. You're burnt chicken. That's it. I mean, even after conviction, they're allowed to speak. And so Tyler had to sit there and listen to Stefan, who, as you could tell, was egging him on, talking about what joy Madeline gave him. crime lover said, but he has 30 days to appeal. Well, what's he going to appeal? That's standard procedure. What's he going to appeal? That he pled guilty? Is he going to roll the dice and not go to trial and get the death penalty? What's he going to appeal? I mean, what's he going to appeal? Is he going to say that wasn't me in the pictures? The no contest to murder is intriguing to me. Hey, and if in 30 days he changes his mind, then we go to trial. Then they go, I say we, always act like we're doing it. Then they go to trial. And then they're going to put all those pictures on display. And then they're going to have another trial. And this time, what they're going to do is say, death penalty's on the table. I don't know why on earth it's signed, sealed, delivered. If he does, he does. No sweat off my swamp ass because it's hot here.
No contest, GLR.
I'm watching the door. I understand that it's over, but I want to see if True Crime Beat comes out.
His attorney coming out. Is there any comment you would like to make on behalf? Mr. Stearns hasn't authorized us to speak. Mr. Stearns has not.
Where's Shannon? Where's True Crime Beat? What is she walking out the back door thinking she's part of the press? I'm going to start calling her Bullhorn Shannon. I'm going to try to call her. Give me a second. Somebody calling from Wisconsin. Let's see if Shannon. They don't have no vegan. They don't have no vegan snacks in those vending machines. What's she doing? Giving out autographs? Denied. I got voicemail. We all hope, Krista. I hope. That looks like her. Oh no, that's not her. You have some really cute outfits. Tell you what. Okay, that's not Shannon. No, that's not Shannon. Yeah, I'm not going to comment again if someone looks like Shannon. They look a little different coming through the window. Uh-oh. Hang on. Here she is.
Hey, are y'all still on? I've been outside taking some video and stuff. So there's been the attorneys for the Tyler.
Okay.
So, are y'all still on, or did you end it?
Oh no, we're still on. We've been waiting on you, girlfriend. I thought it was you
Okay.
coming out the door. You're going to hear me in the show going, I think that's Shannon right there.
Yeah, I was wearing a green top. That's me. Yeah.
No, it wasn't you. But anyway, go ahead. How'd it go?
So,
Were you creeped out?
Yeah. And I've got tomorrow morning free, so I'm not working, so I can totally come on tomorrow and we can have a large chat because this is a lot. And JLR's here. I finally got to meet JLR today. So,
Ooh,
yeah.
Are you taking pictures and everything? Get some pics.
Yeah, let me get off with you and take some more pics.
All right.
So, yeah.
All right.
Love
I didn't mean to
y'all. Talk to
bother
y'all
you.
tomorrow.
I didn't mean to bother you. Okay.
Bye.
This is what happens when your friends get famous. Okay? They're out there rubbing elbows with JLR, taking videos, talking to attorneys. You know, they always leave the little people behind. Dear God, you know, goodness. What are we going to do? Tell you what. They always forget the little people. I appreciate her saying tomorrow we're going to do a large chat. Okay, cool. We'll tell JLR, bring his people in too. Fuck me. It's getting too late in the afternoon for this shit. All right, y'all. Exactly, Chrissy. Famous true crime beat. She's leaving us all in the dust. Shonda said, happy to have a man on the inside. TCB is the real MVP. Oh, she is. Oh, she is. Man, what to do? Chris has said she penciled you in. Oh, yeah. They penciled me in. She did. She certainly did. Well, I always pencil you guys in, but tomorrow at 9 a.m., I'm rhyming. Damn, I'm like the Eminem of YouTube. This was a rough show because the minute that freak started talking, I about lost my mind. With her daddy in the courtroom talking about how he enjoyed her. Oh, fuck. Woo, buddy. 9 a.m. Central. Here we go. Set your reminders. There it is. I made that business card by myself, too. 9 a.m. So I'm going to start working my artistic magic. Jinbug, I didn't hear about your concert weekend. I need to hear about that. So once True Crime Beat gets done signing autographs and kissing babies, and she gets her rest and eats her tofu, she will be good to go tomorrow to tell us what happened in court, things they didn't show on the news. You guys are the absolute best. That was a lot to take in. That was a lot to take in. That's all the feels right there. That is all the feels. Okay. Deep breath. Deep breath. Ooh, hang on, Jinbug. 2 nights of Wallen posted videos in Discord. I'm on there. Exactly. TCB on the scene. We are. You guys are all on the scene because you're awesome. You are awesome, awesome, awesome. All right. I'll see you guys over in Discord in probably about 2 seconds. You're the best.